Hey everyone, we are back at the Blockchain Economic Forum. We are now with Dovev Goldstein.
Hi Alan, how are you?
Thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
So you are the Chief Marketing Officer
Yes, of Firmo Network.
of Firmo Network.
Yeah.
So this was interesting. You were just teaching me a little bit about this. And so building the infrastructure for the crypto economy and especially for things like derivatives, so contracts for derivatives and other financial assets.
That is correct. What we've built is a language, a formally verified language that enables the creation of derivatives and other financial instruments. For instance, swaps, futures, hedging, all types of financial instruments that are very, very common in the fiat world, in the real world, what we call, but they pretty much don't exist in the crypto world.
Mm-hmm.
And for a healthy economy, it's very crucial so that they would exist in order that people would be able to trade with those type of instruments. So this is why we've built it. There is a very strong need for those solutions.
What does it look like to have a derivative in fiat currency versus a derivative in cryptocurrency? Is there a difference?
Well, let's take a moment to speak about what a derivative is all about.
Let's do it.
A derivative means that you can hedge your holding or your investment in any business and in a way that enables you to invest in what's really crucial for your investment. So one of the examples that we like to use in Firmo is we take the example of an ice cream maker that he knows that in the winter that in few months he's going to need to acquire milk in order to produce the cream for his ice cream. But he doesn't want to be exposed to the volatility of any coin. So he wants to know in advance what's going to be the cost of the milk in 3 months from now. So for that matter, he would want to write a contract, a future contract, about the value of the milk in 3 months from now, where he would actually need the milk to be consumed by him in order to produce the milk for the ice cream.
So then I say that I'm going to guarantee you that I buy milk from you in 3 months. So please give it to me at the certain price.
Exactly. This is actually the meaning of a future contract, the meaning of the agreement between the two of us that I might pay you now a little bit in advance.
In advance, yes.
It might be, or maybe we just agree and then you as a producer of milk or as a farmer, you know that you already allocated certain amount of your harvest for this ice cream maker. So you know that you are safe now with because you have certain portion of your harvest that is ready to be sold, and you can take risks on the rest of your potential income because you already have this contract with me. So this is why derivatives are important for the creation of a healthy economy, because both the farmer and the ice cream maker, they know what's going to be the cost or the revenues for their businesses, and they can allocate the risk in other parts of their business. On the crypto economy, there is a very big need for the same type of instruments. For instance, let's take the most common example of hedging. If you own a certain amount of Ether, for instance, you would probably want to protect the value of your holdings in case that the Ether would go down. So in that case, you would want to acquire the type of contract that would enable you to sell in up to, let's say, 10% down of the current price in case that the price would go down. Another person would say, I want to take the risk because I believe that the Ether would go up. So I would take your money now because I believe that anyway I will not need to buy from you the Ether in the lower price. So this is actually what derivatives are all about in financial world. Most of the transactions in the financial world are not actually on
derivatives and hedging go hand in hand then?
Hedging is one example of a derivative.
Is one example of a derivative. Okay.
Another example would be shorts. Shorting, if you want to short certain asset, if you believe that the price of oil would go down, you can make a short contract on a short or long, according to your belief on anything.
So then all these examples of derivatives in the fiat currencies, totally, it's all available for you to do today, however you want to do, but in cryptocurrencies, not yet available. Firmo Network is making this available.
Exactly. The reason that they are available in the fiat world is that they are centralized. Each bank or each financial institution is doing the bookmaking of each one of the contracts. So in many cases, for every short contract, they have a long contract on the other side, and they know how to measure their exposure. On the crypto world, we'd like to have something that would be a decentralized solution. So there will not be one institution or one organization that would handle all the booking, and what shall we do if it will get hacked. So for that matter, we'd want to have a solution that would be a decentralized solution. This is what we're building. We're building the infrastructure for a decentralized solution so that any financial institution would be able to issue their derivatives, their offerings to their customers, and we are in a way an infrastructure company. We sell our product, or we provide our solution to financial institution.
So then is this mostly used at a bank, or can any even small, medium-sized business use derivatives through Firmo Network?
The variety of financial instruments can vary from exchanges, probably decentralized exchanges, but maybe later also centralized exchanges that would like to have a decentralized solution for derivatives. But it could go up to peer-to-peer lending, insurance companies, loan institutions. Those institutions,
those
sometimes they become also. There are also players who play in a more niche type of market. So it could be from very large institutions to smaller scale. It will not be a single person doing his business from home.
Exchanges and markets and the bigger players, insurance companies.
They would be our main target audience.
Target audience, okay. So what's holding back maybe Ethereum or Bitcoin from making something like this themselves to help with derivative exchanges?
I think the concept behind most blockchains is to enable a variety of options. For instance, Ethereum is built in the concept of the creation of a very, very flexible platform for the creation of any type of contract. However, if you want to build a language that is much safer and much less exposed to bugs, you would probably want to develop it in a type of language that is called formally verified language. These would be the family of computer languages that would operate trains, planes, all kinds of computer-based machines that you wouldn't want them to restart. So it doesn't really matter. It's a pain in the ass if your computer breaks in the middle of a presentation, but it's not the end of the world. But if it happens to you while you're driving a train, if you're a train driver, or if you're flying a plane, this is something that is very, very risky. So this is the family of languages that are focused in doing only what they are meant to do. You can do graphics with them. If it was meant to fly a jet, it can go up, down, right, left, and that's pretty much it. Same thing about our language on financial instruments. We've built this language that enables only the creation of financial contracts. So you can do anything other than that. So in a way,
it's limited to that application.
So the focus of the language is completely different from the concept of a blockchain like Ethereum, for instance.
Got it. Okay, so then the focus of your language, Firmo Network, can be applied to other blockchains as well, or financial institutions have to use Firmo Network in order to have derivatives, decentralized derivatives themselves?
Actually, the solution that we picked, we've built this language which creates the contract, and then we have a compiler that compiles this contract into each one of the blockchains. So at the moment we compile to EVM, which is Ethereum, and probably it would also be applied to EOS and other blockchains. We will develop in the future additional compilers so that according to the development of additional blockchains in the future, we will develop additional compilers so that our partners, the financial institutions that we'd like to partner with, they would be able to offer their goods on any blockchain that would be relevant.
So what are you most looking forward to with Firmo Network?
We're at the moment in the middle of our ICO, so it's a process that is very, very interesting for us. We are looking for partners, design partners, that are interesting for us to develop and to fine-tune our product according to the needs of variety of all kinds of financial institutions. So this is where we are focused.
And then what are you most looking forward to regarding the application of Firmo Network in the world? Like, where is it going to be most helpful, do you think, and that you're most looking forward to it?
This is a very good question. Actually, we have lots of conversation about this internally and with our advisors and with the people that we consult with. Some people say that the vast use of derivatives in the crypto world would be hedging. Others say that it's going to be swaps. Others say that their primal need would be shorting. So it varies. I can't really say what's going to be the main one.
And hedging and shorting and swaps via what? Via exchanges or via what? Where will they be able to conduct the hedging swaps?
We are not a product that is open for the public. So we develop, by the end of the day, we have an API that needs to be needs to be used by a financial institution. There's two reasons for that. One is that we believe that for us to be a B2B company is much more relevant solution in the approach that we took. The second thing is that those financial institutions, they are the ones who are experts in serving customers. They know how to attract their customers and how to serve them with the needs of their customers. So we would never want to compete against our potential customers. So our customers or our partners, we would never compete against them.
So you do B2B play to financial institutions, and then they will leverage Firmo Network for their clients to be able to do hedges and swaps.
Exactly. It will be from their point of view. It would be a white label. So it would be their brand that enables. It enables all of this amazing stuff
in a decentralized way rather than a centralized way for the financial.
And the meaning of a decentralized manner means that once they've created a contract, the future contract, for instance, from the example before, it's actually a token. So this token can be kept, for instance, within an exchange, but it could be saved on a private wallet. It could be moved from one exchange to another. According to it's actually an asset like it as same as it is in the real world. If you have a future contract at the moment, you can trade it just as well. You don't need to wait for the end of this contract. It has value during the whole process of the lifetime of this derivative.
Okay, and then maybe we also ask you about, let's give another example because I think examples are really important. So we gave the example about milk. Let's say we give another example, maybe we give another relatable example of how this can be used for maybe the average person that goes to the financial institution and wants to do some hedging or shorting.
One very common example would be example that is very common in the fiat world, but again doesn't exist in the crypto world. Let's assume that I believe that certain asset is going to be worth much more than it is at the moment.
Yes.
Because
stock
I believe
of a company.
A stock of the company, but in the crypto world, let's say a token or a coin or a project. If I have this belief, I would either acquire this asset and hope for this to rise, or I could say I would like to take a risk and to make a contract with someone else and saying that if the price would go up 2 times, then I would get only the margin. So this is an example of something that is very common in the real world, in the fiat world, but you can't really do it in the
Yet.
crypto world yet.
Interesting. Okay, so that seems to be really important. As in, if I thought that somebody that had an ICO was going to be very successful, or that their token was going to go up in value already post their ICO, that I could then schedule a derivative with somebody else via smart contract through Firmo Network, and then we could then see what the future holds, and then that way we can do it via cryptocurrencies now rather than needing to do it via fiat currencies.
That is correct. One thing that needs to be taking into consideration is that the creation of the derivatives themselves needs to be, at the moment they are regulated, so the institution that we will work with, they need to be regulated.
Yes.
To the creation of those, or each one of those derivatives that they would like to issue to their customers.
Can you and I schedule a derivative contract on Firmo Network, or do we need to still go through financial institutions?
We need to go through a financial institution that has the license to issue this type of contract.
So they'll have the license, but then they'll also take a fee as well, right?
They would probably want to make a profit
from it. Okay, interesting. So, okay, let's ask you a couple other questions. We like where are you from?
I'm from Israel, from Tel Aviv.
You're from Tel Aviv, from Israel. Thank you for being here in San Francisco.
It's a pleasure being here.
We really want to work more closely with Israel, Tel Aviv. We want to work more closely with China. We want to work more closely with Russia, with all these different places from around the world, because it's time that we all figured out how to collaborate and work together.
I can't agree more. I think that being in these conferences and these events and speaking to people, you find that people from all over the world, they have so much more alike than they have things that are not alike.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, we all have very strange family issues. We have lots of people are setting goals and trying to achieve them, and we all have to eat. All have to breathe, all these interesting things that bring us actually closer together.
This is true. Everyone has a dream, and he meets people in the way to fulfill his dream. And it's very warm feeling to feel that you have people who have the same dream as you, or similar dreams as you.
So let's ask them this question, because it seems to be more and more pressing as we go throughout civilization. It seems as though exponential technology is making the rich people very, very rich and making poor people just slightly more wealthy over time. What do you think is going to happen to that wealth inequality? How do you think we can maybe solve that?
This is a very good question. I think that having too much difference between the quality of life of people anywhere within any society and between societies is something that causes lots of tension.
Yes.
And this tension always leads to something bad. So it's either jealousy, which is the smaller scale of tension, or much worse event that happen between societies and between groups of people that starts hating each other or starts fighting ones against the others. So I think in order to have a very healthy society, we need to make sure that not everyone will have the same. It's not a communist perception, but you need to have up to a certain amount of difference. You need that the poor would have very good life.
Yes.
And more than that, they would have the opportunity, a real opportunity, to be in any type of field
to actualize themselves. They have enough opportunity to find what they are passionate about. They have enough access to opportunity.
In a way, you would want a child that to have the same opportunities, regardless if he's born to a poor family or a very rich family. He needs to have any opportunity, and at the moment the world is not yet there.
Not yet there. So maybe then a good goal for the wealth inequality then is to have every child, wherever they're born in the world, have equal access to opportunity to actualize themselves into the world, and then from there then continue incentivizing innovation as well, so that people that do innovate, that they can still become quite successful monetarily in the world as well. Yeah,
I can't agree more. I think that it's also in the matter of there's a need for those who are lucky ones, who are lucky enough to be in the phase where they are very successful, also to have a look on those who aren't.
Yeah, we have a lot here in San Francisco. Big difference in wealth.
Some of them do.
Do you have in Israel like very big difference? Here it's about 1 mile away, or like 1.5 kilometers away from very, very wealthy, very, very poor. Is that about like, do you have something very close like that in Israel too?
We do, but not in the scale of the States. I think that I can, if I'll generalize that, it's still less extreme, the difference between classes, but it's getting wider and wider in the past few years. This is not a good phenomenon.
I've seen some of the technology advances in Tel Aviv, and it's like crazy beautiful buildings and beautiful technology that's being made by very smart people. And I can see that that's somewhat similar to San Francisco as well. So then there are people that are like still have much less. So what do we do about that? We like to ask that question a lot on the show. Another question we like to ask on the show is, do you think we're alone in the cosmos?
Wow, I wish I had the answer. I really don't know. I wish we aren't.
Why?
Because you want to have multiple opportunities, and multiple opportunities means not to be binded only by the how many are we now? 8 billion. You want to have another 8 billion that have completely different perception of everything about. And
that'd be so cool, like learning another planet's history. Yeah. So okay, and then do you think that we are in a simulation?
I'm not sure if I understand.
Do you think there's a designer to the world that we live in?
If the question means do I believe in God? No, I believe in people.
And then do you think that there was something that made people?
Nature.
And do you think there was something at the very beginning of nature and science that made the code for the nature and science?
I wish I knew enough about it, but I believe there wasn't any act of creation but some God or by some I don't know, 3 wolves that carry the world on their back or whatever fairy tale that someone just made up.
So then, what do you think's the most beautiful thing in the world?
The future.
Why?
Because it has all the possibilities. The present and the past don't have any possibilities. Well, they have some, they put in their interpretation, but they have already happened. And the future is full of possibilities, full of dreams, full of things that needs to be accomplished. So this is the most beautiful thing.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. You are a pleasure. I'm really excited to see Firmo Network take off and continue helping people with derivatives, especially on the new blockchain infrastructure that we're building into our world. Financial institutions, be ready. We're coming, yes. If you guys had a good time watching, please check out the links in the bio. It's a Firmo Network. Tell 2 people about this. They'll tell 2 people, and we'll continue spreading the word. Subscribe, comment below, give us a like, share it with other people. Go make a video about it. Go write about it. Don't just consume. Go create with this content as well. Join us on Patreon so we continue doing cool things like coming to Blockchain Economic Forum and talking to smart people and sharing the content with you. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Peace.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.